The following is a presentation of the Big East Conference Television Network. Big East basketball. Tonight's game features the Huskies of Connecticut against the Pirates of Seton Hall. Big East basketball is brought to you by US Air, America's most frequent flyer. By your local Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Avis. We're trying harder than ever.
Tonight's UConn basketball is brought to you in part by Diet Pepsi, Connecticut State Lottery, and MasterCard.
Welcome everyone to the Brendan Byrne Arena here at the Meadowlands, where tonight the Seton Hall Pirates play host to the Connecticut Huskies in what should be a good Saturday night of Big East basketball. I'm Mike Gorman along with Ron Perry. Welcome to our coverage here. The Connecticut Huskies got going slowly this year, especially in the Big East. They lost their first two, but then they became a pressure defensive team and won their next two. So when we talk about Seton Hall tonight, it would seem the point guard or guards will be the key.
That's right. You really got to handle the basketball well when you play against UConn right now. And Pitt and Villanova did not of late, and they've lost to the Huskies. Darryl Christ, who will get the starting nod from P.J. Colissimo at point guard. The freshman will really have to be solid early, along with Terry DeHea, the fine shooting freshman for Seton Hall. He's solid with the basketball, and Oliver Taylor, who's had some ankle injuries, will also play a lot of point. He's more of a creator from the point guard spot, but clearly both players have to try to limit turnovers, and I think for Seton Hall's success in this game, not only not turn it over, but also try to get down the floor and attack against the pressure.
And on the other side, for the Connecticut Huskies, again, it has been defense that has turned it around for this club, and leading the way, a first-year player, Nadav Hennefeld. He has terrific hands. You don't want to get in his neighborhood with the basketball.
Yeah, he really knows how to play smart defense. He's good with his feet, and as a result, he anticipates very well. He gets into passing lanes. He knows how to flick the ball if people bring it down. He's got himself right up at the elite in the country in terms of steals. He's got to be good with the basketball. He's also going to try to shoot it when he gets the chance early, because he's a key perimeter player, as well as Chris Smith. He's been playing so well lately for Jim Calhoun. I think he's a player that's going to come up big for the Huskies tonight.
Jim Calhoun was telling me before the game, this is as close to a Northeastern team as any he's had at Connecticut. Now, you and I are from New England. We know what that means. What does that mean for the fans who don't?
Well, what that means is that this is a defensive team he's got this year that wants to extend into full court pressure and really go after teams defensively. And if they can do that and create turnovers, which they've been doing better than 20 turnovers a clip for the opposition this year against Connecticut, teams will not be able to handle it well. Connecticut will get out and run with the ball. Reggie Lewis, a great one he had at Northeastern, so that's quite a compliment for the Husky team.
All right, the Seton Hall Pirates, very solid. They'll play their honest-to-goodness man-to-man defense all night long. This should be a good one on a Saturday night. We'll be back with the starting lineups after these words from your local stations. Welcome back to the Meadowlands, everyone. A quick look at the Big East standings. Georgetown on top at 3-0. The Connecticut Huskies 2-2. The Seton Hall Pirates at 1-1. So one of these clubs tonight move above the 500 mark in Big East Conference standings. Let's pick up the starting lineups with our public address announcer, Dom Elijah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game between the Huskies of Connecticut and the Pirates of Seton Hall. Introducing the starting lineups for Connecticut. At forward, 6'6" junior from Torrington, Connecticut, number 20, Murray Williams. At forward for Seton Hall, a 6'8" senior from East Orange, New Jersey, number 30, Franz Volzi. The other forward for Connecticut, a 6'7" freshman from Ramat Hasharon, Israel, number 40, Nadav Hennefeld. The other forward for Seton Hall, a 6'5" senior from Atlanta, Georgia, number 31, Michael Cooper. At center for Connecticut, a 6'9" sophomore from Florence, South Carolina, number 22, Rod Sellers. At forward for Seton Hall, a 6'9" junior from Newark, New Jersey, number 32, Anthony Avent. At guard for Connecticut, a 6'2" sophomore from Bridgeport, Connecticut, number 13, Chris Smith. At guard for Seton Hall, a 6-foot freshman from Holland Patton, New York, number 13, Darrell Christ. The other guard for Connecticut, a 6'5" senior from Newark, New Jersey, number 32, Tate George. The other guard for Seton Hall, a 6'3" freshman from Jersey City, New Jersey, number 24, Terry DeHare. The coach of Connecticut, Jim Calhoun. Coach of Seton Hall, P.J. Carlissimo. Assisted by Rod Baker, Tom Sullivan, Bruce Hamburger, and Pat Elliott. The officials, Jackie Hannon, Gene Monge, and Joe Kepix. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center court.
We're just about set to go here at the Meadowlands. The Huskies at 12-3, the Pirates at 8-4. And we'll be back for the opening tip in a minute. Welcome back, everyone. The Huskies at 12-3, as we said. The Pirates at 8-4. A quick look at the numbers for the two clubs down the line. Points per game, pretty even in the rebound column. Not a lot jumps out at you there, Ron.
No, it really doesn't. The free throw number, 60%, probably something that Jim Calhoun would like to see up for his Huskies, and if the game gets close, we'll see if that's a factor in this one.
It will be Avent and Sellers who'll throw it up. Seton Hall winning the last 5, and Connecticut 13-11 on the series edge. Here we go. Smith quickly ahead to George on a cut. Loose underneath, picked off the floor by Volsey. So Connecticut opens with a turnover. Darrell Christ the other way. Volsey looking inside for Avent. Cooper on a wing over the top to Avent. Missed the layup, got it back and got 2.
UConn comes out in some tight man-to-man defense. When you do that and you front people down low, you've got to get some weak side help.
George top of the key. Hennefeld kind of a point forward on offense for this club.
Really is a good passer, a good all-around play. We talked about his defense at the beginning of the game.
Darrell Christ able to fight through a pick and get there to knock the pass away. Murray Williams will inbound on the baseline.
I think one of the real mainstays for Seton Hall last year, of course, with their run to the finals, the Michigan game, has been their man-to-man defense. We'll see that, I'm sure, most of the night. Tough man defense. They're allowing teams to shoot under 40% this year. They've done very well there.
The freshman Terry DeHare has Chris Smith, the leading scorer for Connecticut.
Good matchup. A lot of quickness.
Cooper is on Hennefeld. 2 on the shot clock, and Smith traveled with it. So the man-to-man defense of the Seton Hall Pirates gets Jim Calhoun up and screaming over on his side of the bench as they turn it over first trip. That's 2 turnovers, 2 possessions.
Someone's got to get the ball there, whether it's Tate George or Chris Smith, when that clock gets down around 7 or 8 seconds, and get into the offensive flow.
Here's a trap on Christ and a steal by Hennefeld. Up quickly to Smith. The hair is back. Smith can't. Yes, he does. Started to come out, went back in again.
Little English on that one. This is the 3rd defense by UConn already. They got a steal out of the 1-3-1 half-court set. Now they're in a 2-2-1 3/4 court set, extending it each time down.
Cooper breaks the 10-second line. Smith the steal at half court. Volsey couldn't reach in, and Smith gets 2 more.
Now this is where UConn's been so successful the last couple of games, putting the pressure on, and you can see after a made field goal, it allows a team like UConn to extend full court.
Avent trying to step through the trap, and he picks up a foul. Might be Sellers.
So important against pressure, Mike, to get that ball in quickly after a made field goal and then get it to the middle of the press so you can bring the ball down court and attack.
First on Sellers. Smith out on Christ. Into Volsey. Tries to power it up, and he traveled. Tate George reaching in and getting a piece of the ball. So the Connecticut hands very present early. The up quick to Murray Williams. George trying to spin on Chris. Pulls up for a jumper. No. Avent clears.
Kind of a quick move by Tate that time against the 1-2-2 zone.
Chris coast to coast and then lost the handle, but it's tipped out of bounds. It'll be Seton Hall basketball as P.J. Carlesimo looks on. Looking to get to the 500 mark for the win tonight. Spinning inside, Avent's shot won't go down, picked off Hennefeld. George on a wing to Murray Williams. Pull up Williams, no. Sellers an offensive board. Smith launches one, no. Loose Christ. Looking ahead, didn't see DeHare, who was ahead of the field. Now he finds him down in the corner. DeHare fires and hits a three.
And Mike, not only does he hit a three there, he makes a great catch just to reel that ball in. It was down around his feet.
There's no conscience for him.
Well, I saw him early in the year. Remember the Wake Forest game? I said, he's a player. He's ready to play in this league.
Tate George driving in for two. Connecticut goes back up 1-6-5. And Hennefeld his second steal.
That anticipation we talked about leading the fast break.
Smith's pull-up front rims at Avent the rebound. Here's Smith. Had a history this season of getting off very slowly in games. He's averaging 17 a game, but first 10 minutes of games, he struggles, it seems. Off the ball, we've got a foul. It's going to go on Holtzy, holding off Hennefeld. Let's see if we can spot it.
Well, that's the beauty of having three officials. They can pick up this kind of away from the ball activity. A lot of pushing, and there it is. Volsey just too physical with Hennefeld.
Oliver Taylor is checking into the Seton Hall lineup, and while we have a moment, a special welcome to everyone back at the University of Connecticut watching tonight's telecast during the grand opening of the Harry Gampel Pavilion. The $28.5 million facility will have its first game January 27th, but folks in there tonight, welcome to Big East basketball. Taylor picks off the steal, ahead to Avent. Anthony, nice job not to travel, and he got the layup.
Kind of looking around there for some help and finally said, hey, I think I'll put this one up myself. He was under the basket. They're trying to get Avent to do more of that. Just go right up strong inside. Stick to the basic fundamentals.
Seton Hall by 1, 7-6. 4 minutes gone, first half.
Double stack offense by Connecticut to try to do some screening down low, and they've always got Smith to do some creating from the perimeter.
Williams pops out, kisses it home. First for Murray Williams. Puts the Huskies back up by 1.
Second start in a row for Murray Williams. Missed games early this year with the left knee injury. He's a real stable performer. He's got long arms. I think he helps the defensive pressure, Mike.
Jim Calhoun seems to have let up a little bit with the full court since Taylor came in.
Going now to a 2-3, but the UConn seems to get hands on a lot of balls. They've got a lot of 6'7" athletes that really keep the hands up defensively.
DeHare looking to create a shot, leaves it for Cooper. Long with the three, Murray Williams the rebound, quickly to Smith, up ahead to George. Nobody spotted Sellers, who had beaten Avent down the floor. Hennefeld does, though.
Oh, he knows how to play the game. That's a great no-look pass by Hennefeld with the good penetration.
Huskies by 3. DeHare finds Cooper. Cooper in traffic. Got it.
Oh, nice. Well, you're not going to find too many people pound for pound as strong as Coop. And he goes up in traffic. I thought it was a great look cross court and a nice catch. DeHare to Cooper. Just not going to take it away from Cooper once he goes up with it.
He gave the foul to Tate George, his first. Cooper looking to complete the three-point play, won't get down. Holtzy, good job trying to keep it alive, but saved on the floor by Sellers. George trying to look inside, nearly picked off.
Got to use the bounce pass or the alley-oop type play when you're throwing it from the top. Connecticut with a double high post now.
Hennefeld, a little room, leans in. Cooper got a piece of it. Taylor the other way. Swings it to Cooper, looking inside for Avent.
Connecticut now with a 1-3-1 zone, and what they're forcing Seton Hall to do right now is recognize the defense, and that works for UConn because it takes time off the clock.
Volsey, good look inside. Avent's reverse layup. Volsey, a follow, count it, the foul. So Seton Hall showing their inside strength.
Well, another one of the keys we've talked about, Seton Hall having to handle pressure. Another thing UConn's got to contend with is the Seton Hall front line in this game. That's great work by the Pirates. Franz Volsey with a good second effort. He's been very consistent this year for Seton Hall, averaging better than 14 points a game.
19 a game in Big East play. And as you can see, better than 63% in the field goal percentage. Volsey knocks down the free throw. The Hall is up by 1. 11-10. Make it 12-10. Welcome back. We talked about Nadav Hennefeld off the top, and he does anticipate, doesn't he?
Oh, he sure does. This is the three-quarter court pressure by UConn, and he's just out there anticipating, and then it's off to the races for UConn. He has that head up at all times, and he's not afraid out of the half-court set to penetrate and play a little point guard himself with a fine dish inside to Rod Sellers.
John Gwynn has checked into the Connecticut lineup for the first time tonight. He's out there with Hennefeld, Sellers, George, and Lyman DePriest, who's also making his first appearance. Tate George leans in for 2.
Tate George, the only senior on the UConn Husky squad, so shows some good experience there with the penetration.
Score is tied at 12 with 13:35 still to go here first half. Taylor, DeHare, Avent, Cooper, and Volsey stay on the floor for the Seton Hall Pirates.
And DePriest is matched up, or is trying to match up on the same side of the floor as Terry DeHare. DePriest, an excellent defensive player, and you've got to recognize DeHare at all times, a great perimeter shooter.
Cooper finds him in the corner, and DeHare launches right away for 3. Nice call.
That time he went to the other side, though, and the Nadav Hennefeld didn't get there quite quickly enough.
George lost the dribble, finds Hennefeld. DePriest trying to get around Cooper. That's a tough job, and nearly threw it away, trying to get it back to Hennefeld. It's interesting, the Seton Hall Pirates will probably look at on the offensive end 10 and 12 different defenses out of Connecticut tonight as Hennefeld misses. On the other end, Connecticut's going to see man-to-man all night long.
Bread and butter defense by Seton Hall, but they play it very well.
Pass slapped away inside. It was Hennefeld who got a hand on it, and a foul is going to be called on Volsey with the push. And that's 2 on Volsey. Remember, 6 fouls in Big East play. Gordon Winchester will see his first minutes for the Pirates. Michael Cooper will sit down, and Chris Smith has come back in, and Tate George sits down for Connecticut.
The 6th foul really does change the strategy for coaches, because normally in Big East play you take a guy like Volsey out with the 2, but where you got 6, you can certainly keep him in for another one.
John Gwynn, who is instant offense for this club.
Nearly 10 a game and only 17 minutes a game. He gets it done.
Sellers a nice offensive board. Got pushed a little bit, no call. Gwynn gets it back and knocks it down.
It's a good patient look by Sellers. He got the rebound. He was doubled up, and always a good look by big men to find the open backcourt man.
Avent helps to break the pressure. Now it's Taylor. Double team on Taylor. They chase him to half court.
That was okay. It made some contact with Connecticut defensively, but they are really aggressive with the traps.
Oh, great strip by Hennefeld inside as Winchester found Volsey.
And that's where he comes across from the weak side. He knows where to go. And watch him. We talked about it. If you bring it down, he'll just strip it. There he is right there, right on it.
Got a little horn problem here at the Meadowlands. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout. 11:49 left to go first half. The Hall is up by 1. Back after these words from your local station. Welcome back, everyone. The Hall by 1, 15-14, 11:49 left to go. Rod Sellers doing a nice job underneath for the Huskies.
Well, another important aspect of this game is rebounding, and offensive rebounding is positioning, and it's hustle to the basketball. And Rod Sellers, he just goes after this one. He's doubled up. Nice feed he made to Gwynn, who was able to finish off. Good hustle by number 22.
Maybe the most improved player on this Connecticut team, Rod Sellers. Freshman who really did not look for offense much at all, but this year has really come around for Jim Kelly.
Playing with a lot of enthusiasm. You can see his confidence building as the season goes along.
Here's DeHare looking to create, kicks it out to Taylor, fakes the 3. DeHare goes right back to the corner. He's up there top of the screen. Avent back out. Taylor for 3 this time, and he knocks it down. The 3s have been good to the Pirates so far.
Got 3 of them from their backcourt. 2 for DeHare, now 1 for Taylor. Got to move it against that Connecticut trap, and they're doing it.
Murray Williams gives it up to Smith, who pulls it back out. Smith Gets Volsey in a switch. Inside, Sellers rejected. Avent knocked away by Winchester, and they might have Winchester with the foul.
That's a good call. Winchester crashes in there, but a great initial defensive play by Avent. Sellers tries to kind of quick shoot that one, blocked, but then he gets hacked by Winchester on the ensuing rebound action.
Dan Cerulik will make his first appearance of the night for Connecticut, and Nadav Hennefeld and Jim Dickinson's also going to see his first minutes for the Seton Hall Pirates, and Anthony Avent will get a rest.
A couple of big boys there with Dickinson and Cerulik both over 7.
I think both coaches want those two on the floor together.
That's right, because they're going to be going up and down that floor probably around the same pace.
George leaves it for Smith in the corner, and Smith continues to miss, but Hennefeld's there for an offensive board.
Both teams are content to execute out of the half-court set if they don't have the push.
Tate George gets the bucket and a foul, and it draws some reaction from the crowd here at the Meadowlands. DeHare getting there late.
Always a tough call, but Tate George with the good penetration. Let's see if DeHare kind of leans as he goes up. Ooh, that was a close one. Always tough. Looks like there was a little bit of a move underneath George, though, as he went in, and Gene Monge.
No hesitancy.
That's right, he was right on it.
Just the first foul on DeHare. Tate has struggled at the free throw line, but DePriest comes up with the rebound.
That's why he's in there. He's a good hustle man, goes after the loose ones.
Cerulik touching it offensively first time. Now DePriest, little leaner with the left hand off the glass.
Kisses it home.
Lyman. And we are tied at 18 halfway through this first half.
Connecticut now in the 1-3-1 trap.
Winchester will try. Too long on the baseline. Hennefeld, nice pass, kicking it out to George. Tate's little pull-up. Back rims it loose underneath. Out of bounds. It'll be Connecticut basketball. Pirates unable to get hold, and B.J. Carlissimo not happy. Franz Volsey will check back in. Winchester goes out, so Seton Hall gets bigger along that front line. George skipping it out to Smith. Gets it right back. Looked inside briefly at DePriest. Inside, Tate George trying to post up. Oh, great pass to Cerulik, who misses the easy one. But what a pass by George.
Was it around Dickinson?
It was right around him, and that's a long trip around Jim Dickinson. There's a steal by Chris Smith, who anticipated the pass nicely.
Just great quickness there.
Bounce pass to Priest, strong no, tip no from Cerulik. Twice won't get down. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be Seton Hall ball.
That's where your coach says grab the basketball with 2 hands and then go up if you're Cerulik and just dunk it. He had 2 tip tries, but never did get good control of the ball.
Cerulik jumping out a little bit on Dickinson, who's very much playing the high post at the top of the key right now. Dickinson's a pretty slick passer. Michael Cooper catches and fires. Loose Hennefeld got hit in the eye. They give it up to George. Hennefeld holding his left eye as he walks up the court. Inside to Cerulik. Turn around Cerulik, who's not shy, and he gets his first bucket.
Just about to say probably a quick shot by UConn. The fadeaway by Dan. Not a lot of offensive rebounding position for Connecticut, but gets it to go down. Seton Hall looks a little tentative against this pressure.
6 straight here for the Huskies. DeHare hits another 3.
That'll help a little tentativeness, just nailing it from about 25.
9 for DeHare, all from beyond the stripe.
We've made all 3, too.
All by 1. Into Cerulik again, and a foul on Dickinson over the top. Jim Dickinson picking up his first. The Pirates lighten it up outside, 4 or 5. Smith unable to find the range for Connecticut. He's their primary three-point shooter. Anthony Avent back in, and Rod Sellers back in. DePriest will sit down, and so will Dickinson.
It's been the key for Seton Hall because Connecticut has really been bothersome defensively for the Pirates with a lot of steals early in this game, but they're making up for it. Seton Hall with that good three-point range.
Sellers kicks it back out rather than going on Avent.
Couldn't make his mind up what move to use that time.
Inside, Sellers makes his mind up this time. Little jump hook won't go. Volsey right there. Taylor, the quick push, looking for a little room, nearly lost it. And they got a reach-in foul on Tate George, his second. But Oliver Taylor might have to start the offense out a little further, because as soon as he gets inside the top of the key, he's getting swallowed.
Yeah, very important point for a point guard is to never dribble into a trap. You've always got to get rid of the ball before the trap gets there. And Jim Calhoun's going to the 1-3-1 hard right now. Got to move the ball. You can see Jim Calhoun's record at Connecticut now in his 4th year. But the W's on the right side of the ledger.
NFL out bothering Cooper.
Huskies now man-to-man. Again, forcing Seton Hall to recognize, though. What defense are they in this time?
Volsey trying to force one up and picked up a foul from Cerulic down the baseline. Dan Cerulic getting his first. PJ Carlesimo's club 8-4, 1-1 in league play. Performing above the expectations of just about everyone after he lost so many players from that great team last year that came within a point of a national championship.
I think the big reason for that was, a young backcourt this year, and DeHare has stepped in and played so well. Darrell Christ, who we just saw there beyond P.J. Carlesimo, stepping in and playing solid, and Oliver Taylor has done a good job so far.
Volsey unable to get the roll. Event, great job to steal the rebound. Loose underneath, picked off the floor by Sellers. George the other way, finds Hennefeld. Skips it back to George at the point. Sellers trying to post up Cooper now. And they got Michael Cooper with the hold down low. On Cooper's first. 7:27 left to go here first half. The Hall by 2 will be back. Back to the Meadowlands, everyone, and a quick reminder, this copyrighted telecast is produced by authority of the Big East Conference and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Big East Conference is prohibited. Marco Locar has checked into the game. Freshman guard from Trieste in Italy.
He's a good three-point shooter, so P.J. Carlesimo may be looking to continue that hot shooting from that distance.
He may have seen the Dove Hennefeld in his travels, too, somewhere in Europe.
Playing on the road, overseas.
Cerulic open at the free throw line, bangs it long, loose underneath. Hennefeld, right spot, won't go down. Sellers the follow, and Cerulic was there on the other side as Connecticut had about 5 attempts.
UConn is really playing aggressive in this first half with the defense. However, they're shooting under 40%, but they're getting some good second and third tries right now. A couple of players there, Cerulic and then Sellers with a good opportunity. Fading away, though, inside. Finally, Sellers went up aggressively to draw the foul.
Franz Volsey has to sit down with his third personal foul. Winchester and Connecticut owning the offensive board to this point.
One area where Sellers has struggled this year. He's under 50%. Volsey goes to the locker room there. I picked it up early. He got quite a gash on his elbow. Yep. Looks like he's been playing in a football game out there with the blood-stained uniform in the first half.
The Hall by 1, 22-21. 7 minutes straight up left to go here first half.
A lot of pressure on Taylor to handle right now. Locar more of a shooter than a handler with the ball.
Winchester looking inside as Cooper flashed across. Taylor with the fist to call the play. Avent out on a wing, tipped away. Hennefeld. Bounce pass to George. Tate George, nice move. Rammed home by Sellers.
Boy, did Sellers just hustle through on that play, and that's why you want your people to run through on a break. Tate George must have left from the top of the key for that layup.
Avent helps to break the pressure, looks and finds Winchester.
Hennefeld with those quick hands in the first half.
Taylor, tough shot, nails it.
Oh.
Oliver Taylor, his second bucket. He's got 5.
Well, that's been the story. Seton Hall has just been very tough from the perimeter, making some jump shots with people in their faces.
Hennefeld goes out to pick off Locar, then gets it back. Little leaner by Hennefeld, and he's fouled on the way through. Might be Michael Cooper who picked that one up, and that's his second. So Volsey the only one in any foul trouble with 3. put Hennefeld at the line. It was Tuesday night against Villanova. They gave him in the box score, Ron, credit for, I think, 6 or 7 steals. I did that game. He had 14 if he had 1. It was just amazing.
Yeah, when you get that many steals in the road, you know you're getting it done.
It's like he had read the Villanova playbook before he got there. He just knew what was going to happen before it happened.
He just knows where to be on the court, it seems, at all times, offensively and defensively. Didn't start the first 10 games this year. There's no taking him out of the starting lineup now.
Taylor's going to have to go some. Just gets it across. Lokar finds Avent. Seton Hall has spent nearly 20 seconds trying to get into their offense.
Well, that's almost a 5. He's got to get rid of that one.
Taylor takes it in. No, follow won't go, but Avent's there.
Now the defense just broke down for UConn after Avent was able to get out of trouble. And then it was all Seton Hall on the offensive boards.
Sellers inside, rolls up the hook. No, and Avent is there for the rebound. Oliver Taylor the other way, quickly to Winchester. Inside, knocked away by Murray Williams, picked off by Lokar.
Had a thought.
Yes, he did. Brief one. Looking to create something, and a 5-second call.
No penetration by the defensive player. You got to get head and shoulders to get a new count on the 5 seconds.
PJ's reaction speaks for itself.
Thought it was a quick one.
Did seem a little quick.
No sooner had the ball, made a quick move to the right, and it was already up to 5.
Terry DeHare back in the game. He's going to pick up George. Taylor is on John Gwen, who's come back in for Connecticut. Murray Williams comes behind a Sellers screen and hits the jump shot.
Now Murray Williams doing a solid job, and he's getting the minutes now that Scott Burrell, fine freshman for UConn, out now probably for approximately 3 weeks with the bad knee injury. He'll be back though.
Now the turnover. Avent's got an angle, but George got the layup. 8 for Tate George, who leads the Huskies in scoring, and the Huskies with a 3-point lead.
Seton Hall now double figures with the turnovers, but they make up for it with the good shooting.
Winchester, nice little jump shot. 6 different players have scored for the Hall. They trail by 1, 29-28, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. As you can see, left to go first half. Hennefeld takes it in for 2.
Well, he just keeps finding the openings, taking what presents itself in this game.
Taylor needs a little help, and DeHare comes with 1 second left to get it over the line. Not the smartest place in the world to stop and start yelling at people.
Get it over the timeline first and keep the dribble alive. Don't kill it when you're a point guard.
Nearly picked off, and it is. Williams got the first hand on it. DeHare back defensively. Offensive foul is called.
Wow, that's a great anticipation by DeHare. Murray Williams wanted to use a spin move. Super defensive position.
3:39 to go here first half. Huskies of Connecticut up by 3. We'll be back. Connecticut by 3, 3:39 to go.
Well, the action's been furious here in this first half, but Nadav Hennefeld, he's been on the defensive end, and this time finds the seam on the swing of the offense for UConn with a good power move.
And at the conclusion of this game, and every game televised by the Big East Conference Television Network, we'll be selecting a Plymouth Player of the Game. This selection is part of the Chrysler Corporation's overall sponsorship of Big East basketball, and Darrell Christ, who started the game, is back in at the point now for Seton Hall. John Gwen got the steal.
Oh, UConn has just been all over the place defensively. That's now 11 turnovers for Seton Hall.
NFL looks, finds DePriest, who's covered by Cooper. Volsey is back in the game playing with the 3 fouls and a bloodied uniform. Hennefeld a little room, and that's going to be a goaltend. Score the bucket for Hennefeld.
It's a quick first step that time by Hennefeld, getting it to the goal. As you can see, he just catches Avent kind of napping. Good move. The ball on its downward flight with a chance to go. Kind of a pin effort up there by Volsey.
Biggest lead of the night for the Huskies. It's 5 with 3 minutes to go first half.
Surprised Seton Hall hasn't gotten it to the middle more against the pressure and tried to attack. They've really been more just trying to get it over midcourt to set up their offense in this first half.
Cooper swallowed up by Hennefeld and DePriest. Volsey, tough shot, long with it. Rebound. Hennefeld tried to keep it alive. It does.
Great play.
Gwynn the other way in the break. Connecticut with the numbers. Tate George. Now John Gwynn will fire and hit a three.
That's what Johnny Gwynn does best, and a good look back to him by Tate George.
36-28, an 8-point Connecticut lead. And defense has certainly keyed their offense.
Oh, it really has. They've been swarming the basketball.
Another steal. Sellers comes up with it.
Seton Hall's just got to be more aggressive with the basketball and look for more penetrations, because right now they're just soft with some of those passes. They're getting taken.
John Gwynn looking inside for Sellers. NFL, kind of a point forward on this club. Penetrates, leaves it nicely on the baseline. Gwynn squeezes and gets it.
How does Gwynn get the job done down low? Good look again by Hennefeld. He's taking charge out there.
And a timeout, a big run by the Connecticut Huskies here forces P.J. Carlesimo to talk it over. 9-zip the run, and it's a 10-point lead, 38-28 Connecticut with 1:45 still to play in the first half. And Dov Hennefeld, who we talked about off the top of the show, does a lot of different things for this club.
He really does, and this one won't necessarily show up in the box, but just stays after it aggressively, doesn't go out of bounds, and keeps it alive. That's just a great heads-up play by Hennefeld. And at the other end, offensively, he's been doing the job as well. Called him a point forward a couple of times. I think Larry Bird first coined that phrase, and he is penetrating. He's playing the good D, and that was a fine look to Johnny Gwynn.
And so the Huskies of Connecticut, who are 12-3 on the season, and again in their first two Big East games, really got handled both by the Villanova Wildcats at home and then just mauled by St. John's on the road by 30 points. Well,
I was there for that one, and that was a game where St. John's attacked the pressure very well and scored, and Connecticut couldn't get their offense going. But tonight, this is the way Connecticut's been doing it, with pressure defense that's been really successful.
stick around at halftime, as we'll have a feature on the first 10 years of the Big East. And of course, our Big East report, everything going on around the league, some games played today and tonight. And first half stats and highlights, all coming up at the half. Oliver Taylor, Terry DeHare, the backcourt for Seton Hall, Avent, Cooper, and Volsey up front.
Oh, another near steal by Hennefeld. He just gets over there on Taylor, jumps out behind the screen. Heads up once again as UConn shifts to a man-to-man defense.
And Terry DeHare couldn't get the ball inbounds and very smartly called timeout. So the Connecticut defense continues to give P.J. Carlesimo's club a lot of trouble. Right now, Tate George has 8 for Jim Calhoun's team. John Gwynn 7 off the bench. Hennefeld 6. On the other side, Terry DeHare with 3 threes leads the way for Seton Hall. He has 9. Avent with 6. Pirates of Seton Hall, who have sold, I think, better than 9,000 season tickets for games here at the Meadowlands, trying to get a little run going here in the final 128 of the half, not wanting to go in down double digits.
That's right. This is where they've really got to just regroup and be aggressive with the basketball and look for some more penetration out of their point. Oliver Taylor and Crisp when he's in there, and then you can find DeHare on the perimeter or take advantage with Volsey and Avent down low. But so far, it's been Seton Hall just kind of fighting for their lives with the basketball in this first half. Connecticut with pressure everywhere they go with it.
Turnovers, as Ron said, have been pretty much the story of this game so far. At least if you're a Seton Hall Pirate fan, they sure have. 12-4. Seton Hall has been guilty of turnovers all year long. And against a team like Connecticut, that can really come and haunt you.
Well, it's a young backcourt. We talked about that. They've really done a great job when you consider the season in total, but it is a team that averages better than 18 turnovers a game.
And Taylor nearly got stripped and nearly committed an offensive foul when he ran over Gwynn, who's back to cover him with a smile on his face. Volsey can't go anywhere. Tries to get it down low, and there's turnover number 13.
You can see Seton Hall right now. They're just out of their offensive flow, and he's got PJ in the full crouch right now trying to solve it.
Chris Smith bringing the ball up with Terry DeHare covering him. Avent aggressively out on Sellers, who needs help, and Gwynn comes and helps out. Under a minute now to go first half. Sellers strong to the bucket.
Well, Seton Hall has been caught napping now a couple of plays in a row defensively where they pressure the ball, but Connecticut goes right by and there's no help out.
Shot clock is off, 32 seconds left to go.
This will be a big basket, I think, for the Hall, because if they can get it, as you said, it'll get it down to 10 or even 9 if they can get a 3. They're trying to find DeHare. He's been quiet with the ball in this first half.
Here's DeHare outside the stripe, goes instead to Voltz, skip past to Taylor. He'll take it and hit a 3.
Oh, that's been keeping Seton Hall alive in this first half.
NFL the other way, looking to get a hoop back, and he got himself a foul, a reach-in foul. With 0.2 seconds on the clock.
Cooper with the reach.
Now they gave it to Oliver Taylor, his first.
Tried to make the strip. It looked like Hennefeld was losing control of the ball.
Hennefeld has struggled at times from the line this year, but he is 3 for 3 tonight. 7 first half points.
Done a lot, though, hasn't he?
Oh, yes.
Defensively, some good passes. It's a good finish for him. He just took charge with the basketball.
Jim Dickinson and Gordon Winchester come in for this final play of the first half.
Not a lot you can do with 0.2 up there. 0.2 of a second. You're going to just launch it as soon as you touch it.
Gwynn comes up with still another steal for the Connecticut Huskies. And the Seton Hall Pirates and Huskies go to the locker room. 42-31. UConn will be back after these local messages. The second half of tonight's Big East basketball game is brought to you by US Air, America's most frequent flyer. By your local Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. By AT&T, the right choice. And by John Hancock Financial Services, real life, real answers.
Tonight's UConn basketball is brought to you in part by Diet Pepsi, Connecticut State Lottery, and Firestone.
Back at the Meadowlands, Mike Gorman along with Ron Perry. We're still at halftime. The Connecticut Huskies up by 11, 42-31, and it has been the Connecticut defense all night long that has caused all sorts of problems for Seton Hall. We'll take a quick look at the numbers here and then show you a replay or so that'll justify what we're saying. Field goal percentage is 57% for the Hall, a little bit deceiving. They have really done well with the three-point field goal so far in this game. It's kept them in the game.
It really has, because they haven't taken particularly good care of the basketball, but with the hot shooting, they have stayed within striking distance until the late UConn run to end the half.
Connecticut 5 of 7 at the line. Seton Hall making just 4 trips, and Seton Hall attempting 13 less shots than Connecticut, which is a big number here. Connecticut a 16-12 advantage on the boards, something that Jim Calhoun has to be very, very happy with. And Seton Hall turning it over. That's the story of the game right now. 13 first half turnovers for this club, only 4 for the University of Connecticut in the face of good, solid man-to-man defense from Seton Hall. Points off turnovers, if you're looking for one stat that really sums up the first half, that would be the one.
And Connecticut really used a variety of defenses to throw Seton Hall off, and as you can see, a lot of points. So they were not only able to get the ball off their defense, but they were able to cash in, and coaches will tell you that's really the key. Chris Smith there, get the English there. He's got the roll to drop it down. And Connecticut, with the aggressive, tenacious defense, fundamentals, they trapped, they kept their hands up. I thought they caught Seton Hall somewhat tentative with the basketball in the first half, but Rod Sellers showing some good hustle there. And it doesn't show up on the stats we have, but Connecticut was really the aggressor, and in the hustle, the aggressiveness was there. And there's Hennefeld with 2 points, and he had a very solid all-around floor game in the first half.
Sure did. Didn't hurt his standing at all. Second in the country in steals, as he must have had 4 or 5 in that first half alone. Averages 4.5 a game coming in. He has 8 and George 8 to lead the way for Connecticut. And for the Seton Hall Pirates, Terry DeHare with 3 three-point field goals has 9. Oliver Taylor has 8. So 17 of the 31 points for the Hall coming out of their backcourt And it was a 13-3 run over the final 4:20 of the first half that put Connecticut in the driver's seat, at least to this point. And again, they did it with their defense.
I was going to say, it was never more evident, the defensive pressure, than late in the first half. And I'm sure that's what P.J. Colosimo talked about and put on the board at halftime. He's got Taylor and DeHare in the backcourt. I think we'll see more of the big people getting the ball in the middle of the pressure and more attacking by Seton Hall going to the goal in this second half.
He may have to play Chris and Taylor and DeHare all at the same time.
Yeah, maybe he has to go with the three-guard lineup, particularly depending on the lineup that Jim Calhoun has out there for Connecticut.
Boltzy down in the corner. Gets a little closer and hits a jumper. Franz Boltzy, who's been averaging 19 a game in Big East play, now has 6.
Seton Hall's got to do more of that. Get it down to their big people where they can score and do something productive.
Inside Sellers and goes right over Avent for 2.
With the left, no less. A good, strong move by Sellers. And we talked about him in the first half, playing with a lot of enthusiasm and confidence.
He now has 9. Taylor nearly lost it. Smith goes to the floor for it, and the foul's going to be on Smith.
Taylor with the good-looking penetration, as you see P.J. Colosimo's reaction to the key players hitting the wood here, but he gets too close to Sellers. He has the right idea, and then it's a good hustle for the basketball.
Back live, Michael Cooper, a little hesitation, and the lane goes down.
Shooter's touch with the roll.
So the Hall out of the blocks quickly. 44-35.
Beginning moments of the second half always so important, particularly for the team that's trailing, to see if they can turn the momentum around.
Boltzy there on Murray Williams. Tate George traveled with it on the catch. Jim Calhoun hollering instructions to his club, not happy with that offensive trip at all.
I think he also feels that Cooper blocked Tate that time with the penetration.
Cooper again gets a leaner on the baseline. So the 6'5" senior picking up the slack here for the Hall. They've cut it to 7.
And Seton Hall, as we talked about, pushing it a bit more and looking for the quick offense, which they didn't do in the first half.
Connecticut will go quickly to their bench line, and DePriest will be coming in next whistle. George pops out, gives it up to Sellers. Into Hennefeld, over Cooper.
Oh, the nice fadeaway by Hennefeld. No hesitation at all.
10 for Nadeau.
He looks so comfortable on the floor, doesn't he?
He's played 1,000 games. Cooper having trouble holding on to the ball.
Of course, he comes in with a lot of the experience, having played on the national team in Israel. So by no means a green freshman, but just a good, well-rounded player.
He's out on DeHare right now. Taylor. The ball is rolling around the floor a lot on the Seton Hall offensive end. Oliver Taylor open. Rebound loose, picked off by George. It's a 4-on-3 break. Murray Williams, good look for Sellers, and Avent picks up the foul. Nice adjustment there by the Connecticut Huskies. George picking out Sellers coming down the lane.
It's a 3-on-2 developing. Chris Smith is trying to fill a lane, but look at the nice job here, hitting the trailer. Murray Williams over to Rod Sellers, and that's keeping the head up at all times.
It'll put Rod Sellers at the free throw line. He already has 9, averages 10 a game.
Sellers coming off his best game of the year at Villanova with the 18 points, 7 rebounds. Seems like his best play is in front of him.
Just a sophomore, Jim Calhoun mentioned to me before the game when he came out of South Carolina, he was barely in the top 10 players allegedly that year in the state of South Carolina.
He was a find.
He's probably passed a few folks by now.
That's for sure.
Michael Cooper. 3 in a row for Cooper.
Hennefeld tried to take the offensive that time, and if you're going to go to take that one, you better make sure you got the call, otherwise your man's wide open.
Connecticut by 8.
Hall's been in that man-to-man defense from the get-go tonight.
NFL leans in the lane, comes up short, the tip goes down. Give it to Sellers or to Priest.
Yeah, I think they got the Priest. I saw that left arm in there.
Traveled on the offensive end. Avent now inside. Boltzy for 2. gave that last basket to Sellers, so he's got 11. Volsey with 8.
It was his left arm that got in there. Good work by DeHare on the ball. That's where the defense starts, right at point. If you can get the offense to start way out, that gives the rest of the team a good advantage defensively.
George goes for the corner. Finds Hennefeld. He slashes down the lane. Too hard off the glass. Offensive foul. Because Hennefeld ran over Oliver Taylor. Just the first on Hennefeld.
It's a couple of plays in a row now for Hennefeld where he's looking for that offense quickly. Here, crashing into the defensive player. Looked like a good call.
49-41. Cooper again. Blocked by Sellers. But a foul is called.
Like
Sellers got there in a hurry.
Looked like he had a lot of ball, but there was body contact. Seton Hall this time does get the ball to the middle against Jim Calhoun's pressure. And that's where they're able to create the good hard penetration to the goal.
You know, put Michael Cooper at the line, who averages 8 a game and already has 8.
Coop was going up for the slam, wasn't he?
Coop meant business on that trip. He's pretty strong to send it back at this guy, too.
Cooper really been solid for P.J. Colissimo, giving some defensive instruction. Although really surprising to see that stat in the rebound column. Cooper normally very solid in that area, better than 6 a game.
49-43. The Hall now within 6. Meadowlands crowd comes a bit to life.
Yeah, they've been quiet, but this is a good start to the second half for the Hall. They're coming out much more aggressively in the second half.
Connecticut very tentative on offense in this half.
Yeah, it was more the way we saw Seton Hall with the ball in the first half. It's almost like it's reversed, and the aggressor out there right now is the Hall.
It's nowhere to go. Now they go inside. Sellers jump hook goes down.
He likes that jump hook, and that time he just lured the defense in beautifully in Sellers.
Sellers jumps out on even. Cooper goes inside to Volsey. Wants to power it up. Hennefeld the steal.
What else is new?
Smith on a wing inside. Sellers going to go for the hook again. Rebound even. Taylor the quick push. Wants to go to Volsey. Nearly knocked away by DePriest, picked off the floor by Sellers. Up ahead, Smith, nice catch of the pass, and he traveled with it. Jim Calhoun just demonstrated his vertical leap on that call. 15:05 left to go here in the game, 51-43. Huskies by 8. Gorman Ron Perry back at the Meadowlands. Michael Cooper, the offensive load carrier in the second half here.
Yeah, at the top of your screen, you can see the penetration along the baseline. And Hennefeld, first when I saw that, I thought he was looking to take an offensive. He just really stumbles backward. And Cooper with the nice touch, as he's been offensive-minded. Rod Sellers has been the answer for UConn, though, starting out the second half with that nice jump hook.
Back live, Terry DeHare missed a layup, but it's tipped in by Winchester. Gordon Winchester just in and making his presence felt.
That's a much more fired-up, enthusiastic Seton Hall team in the second half. And they're doing it as UConn did in the first half with defense.
Lyman DePriest had a lot of room, took it in traffic instead, and drew a foul.
Lyman found himself wide open over on the side, saw the lane. He'd much prefer to power it in than to take the long rainbow.
Second foul on Gordon Winchester to put DePriest at the line. Just a 33% free throw shooter in Big East play so far.
We talked about UConn, the blend of some experienced players like DePriest, some of the younger players, freshman Hennefeld, Rod Sellers, the sophomore, and Scotty Burrell, of course, like we mentioned in the first half. They hope that he'll be back by the end of the month. He had the scope done on his knee. They had to repair some cartilage damage, but the prognosis is good that he'll be back quickly. He's a good athlete.
He will certainly add to this defensive pressure. Lyman rolls in the second, his third point of the night. The Huskies by 7. Oliver Taylor trying to get by Chris Smith. Event needs a little help. DeHare over the top to Cooper, and they've got a push on DePriest. First foul on DePriest. Third on the Huskies in the half as Jim Calhoun looks on. looking and looking, finally gets Taylor outside.
UConn's done a nice job defying DeHare defensively tonight. He's made the most of his shot opportunities. He just hasn't gotten that many.
And that'll be Tate George with the grab outside. Third foul on George. Another look.
This is one where Tate's just got to move his feet and not get into that reach-in position. It's a good swing of the basketball. DeHare's got to find the seam better, though, against the zone. Be ready to shoot it when he gets it.
No.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, it looked like his feet just went out from underneath.
Yeah, it looked like he stumbled really and got that second look.
Winchester gives it back to DeHare. Here's DeHare in the corner, lost it. George goes to the floor. DeHare gets it back. Nice hustle by the freshman.
Yeah, nice recovery. Used his body well. UConn now in the man-to-man, and George at 6'6", covering DeHare.
Taylor pulls up, back rims it. Long rebound to Chris Smith. Game with 22 seconds still on the shot clock. In the middle to Smith.
Near walk by George, and I think they got Smith, yeah. He dragged it.
Ronnie, that's one of those, you don't really want to be the next guy to touch the ball when it looks like the official has just missed a call.
That's right. That's right. As soon as that pivot foot, he was unable to hold it, you know he was going to get rung up.
John Gwynn is checked back into the game for the Huskies. He's up on Taylor.
Big possessions to Seton Hall to get this thing into a really tight game. And look who's there again.
Hannafeld, another steal. In the middle to George, on the wing to Gwynn. Gwynn comes up, shoots, and hits it.
Gwynn's got a really quick release. He's about 5'10". He's definitely a shooter. He comes out of the locker room shooting the ball, but he can really get it off quickly.
He's got 9 tonight. 54-45, 9-point game.
Changing defenses have bothered Seton Hall. It's a 1-3-1 this time.
Winchester can't hit baseline. DePriest a good job boxing out and got the rebound. George on the break, and a double dribble is caught.
That one I didn't see. It looked like he was pounding the basketball. A little bit of a hesitation move right here. Let's see where they call this. He's got the ball. He's moving with it. Goes through. I don't see that one. Through the legs.
I certainly didn't see it, so I'm not going to say anything at all. Oliver Taylor, little room. Kicks it out to Cooper, who's been hot. Still is. Michael Cooper, 10 second-half points for the Hall.
Well, there's something to be said for taking high percentage shots, and that's what Cooper does on the floor for Seton Hall.
Tate George trying to lay it inside. Sellers a nice catch. And he'll get to the free throw line. Oliver Taylor picking up his second. PJ Carlesimo unable to get the offensive continuity he's looking for tonight.
Connecticut's been on a roll defensively. They forced Pittsburgh into, I guess it was 25 turnovers at the Hartford Civic Center, and then at Villanova forced normally a good Villanova team with the basketball into 20-plus turnovers. So they've been doing this to people.
Murray Williams comes in. The Dove Hennefeld sits down. 12:24 left to go in the game. 55-47. Connecticut by 8. And it'll stay at 8. Gwynn chasing Taylor. Taylor, a little room to the hoop. And Moxley hands it back to him. Taylor was jumping through the middle as he cut through, and Gwynn didn't go with him. That was George who got a piece of DeHare's shot. DePriest the loose ball. John Gwynn in a crowd. Finds DePriest. Sellers really calling for the ball on Avent. Gives it to Williams on a little cut, and he was looking for DePriest down low. That's a shot I think Jim Calhoun would just as soon have Murray Williams take. 11:48 left to go in the game. It is 55-47 UConn. Back after these words from your local station. Mike Gorman, Ron Perry back here at the Meadowlands. 55-47 Connecticut by 8. Nadav Hennefeld with the quick hands. 14 steals for the Connecticut Huskies tonight. And Hennefeld has been given credit for 5 tonight. He's probably got his hands on the ball another 5 times and they haven't counted.
I think easily he's had a couple of great saves for UConn. Chris Smith has had some good minutes out there for the Huskies, and the big thing is Connecticut has cashed in when they've been able to get the Seton Hall turnover.
Gwynn aggressively out on Oliver Taylor. Cooper gives it up to Avent. Anthony takes it traffic for two.
Oh, sweet move by Avent. Put it down a couple of times, but just powers it up. Avent is very strong in there.
I would think the Hall needs to involve him offensively a little more.
Yeah, I think their whole front line. Cooper's getting into it, but I haven't heard Volsey's name much. They've got to get Avent and Volsey into it with some good penetration. And DeHare, Mike, he hasn't really gotten the shots off tonight.
Gwynn, deep jumper for three. John Gwynn with 12 now off the bench. DeHare trying to get it right back and does count the bucket, and he'll go to the line. Terry DeHare doesn't do anything in twos, it would appear.
That's right, he's going to go for the old-fashioned three on this play. But that's the kind of transition basket that Seton Hall hasn't been able to get tonight. And this is after a made field goal. Gene Mongi with another emphatic call.
NFL right back in, and Murray Williams sits down for Connecticut.
Going to create a new stat for John Gwynn of points per minute. Keep him right up there. He makes the most of his minutes.
Terry DeHare missing his first free throw, and this is third Big East game. He was 9 for 9 before. The lead is 7. Connecticut has it and the ball. Cooper out aggressively on Priest.
Hall needs a couple of stops, and they've got to try to get out and run to get a little run going here.
NFL putting it on the floor.
Oh, good look.
Found the Priest.
Just draws the crowd. He seems to just know what he's doing at all times. Great look.
Terry DeHare looks to answer, won't go down. NFL to rebound. Does he like take the bags to the bus and do all that other kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think he's just on top of it at all. If a player forgets a uniform, he's the guy to say, here it is.
Yeah, I think he is.
UConn controlling tempo right now.
Tate George from the corner, followed by Sellers. And they're going to wave it off. They say he was in the cylinder, and Jim Calhoun can't believe it.
He bettered the vertical leap that time, I think, Mike. Jim Calhoun way up on this one. Oh, that does look like a piece of the ball was above the cylinder when you get another look. That ball came down. I think it was going to hit the rim.
It's a big-time follow, though.
Oh, boy. Sellers really got it.
Cerulic has come into the game now, and Sellers will get a break on the bench. He has been big for Connecticut tonight. Gwynn, the near steal on Taylor. And they've got John Gwynn with the reach-in foul. And Gwynn is first. It's remarkable given the pressure that Connecticut has put on tonight. We're going to see another look at this trap coming up here. But it's remarkable, Ron. No one for Connecticut in any foul trouble.
Yeah, they've played aggressively, but they've played pretty good defense with their feet. And here Taylor, we talked about it earlier, dribbling into the trap right where you want to set it, over the half-court line.
Marco Lokar will check back in for Seton Hall, giving them a little bit more of an outside threat, but Terry DeHare sits down, so that's a trade. Oliver Taylor will be at the free throw line. Gordon Winchester also in the Hall lineup. Volsey's on the bench.
Taylor, a transfer from Miami-Dade North Junior College. They really burst onto the scene together, didn't they? DeHare and Taylor with the Wake Forest game early.
Yep.
They both scored over 20 and like took big shots down the stretch. So these guys are ready to play.
I love the game Oliver Taylor had that night. He hit his first 6 shots. He missed his next 9 and hit his final 4. You gotta like a guy like that, you know?
Not worried about it if a few don't go down.
Connecticut a 7-point lead in the ball as Gwynn gives it up to George, now to Priest. Under 10 minutes to go in the game.
UConn really spreading the floor now against the tight Seton Hall pressure. Could open itself up for a couple of backdoor cuts.
Off the ball, foul is going to go against the Hall. Might have been Taylor down low. Or was it Winchester? It was Winchester, his third. Chris Smith will come back in. Tate George sits down for Connecticut.
Smith's been pretty quiet in this game. Tate George has handled it a lot, but you haven't really seen Smith with the penetrations he's capable of.
Puts that one up on the run a little hard, and Winchester is there, and Taylor tracks down the rebound and gets stripped by Smith. That was a big-time steal right there.
I mean, that's just a good job by Smith. He's off the bench. I thought maybe he takes the shot quickly coming off the bench, but right away bounces back.
Big turnaround there. Seton Hall could have come up and got it down to 5. They find Avent in the blocks, and he walks with it. That's a big turnaround. So instead of having the ball and a chance to get to 5, all of a sudden, Connecticut has the ball up 9.
Connecticut just doing what it wants to right now, forcing Seton Hall into turnovers, being patient with the ball offensively, taking what the defense gives them.
NFL found Cerulic. He got the bucket, and Avent picks up a foul. And again, Nadav Hennefeld just finds the right player.
Well, Cerulic is giving Jimmy Calhoun what he wants out there. The points are a bonus, but when you draw 3 white jerseys, as Hennefeld does here, Cerulic just goes up strong, does the rest.
The Huskies have it back to an 11-point lead with 8:45 to go in the game, and Cerulic at the free throw line. 5.7, his favorite number. He has his 5 points now. There's the trap right in front of us again, and Hennefeld another steal, and he's fouled by Marco Lokar. I know we're beginning to sound like a broken record, but it is unbelievable how involved this kid Hennefeld is in the game.
I mean, it's defensively and offensively. And not necessarily just scoring points offensively. He's just around the ball. Here it is again defensively, the good anticipation. And that's what he does defensively. He just keeps an eye on things, and he's in the right place at the right time, all the time. Connecticut, great job on the steal.
16 steals, no basket there by Chris Smith, the foul outside. Huskies of Connecticut will be at a sold-out Hartford Civic Center on Monday night when the Syracuse Orangemen come in. And Seton Hall will be back here at the Meadowlands to face Providence, another team that you better be very careful with basketball or you're going to turn it over a lot.
Absolutely, they come at you, don't they, with Screen and Murdoch and all-out full-court pressure. A little different than UConn's. Providence will really put it on you right at the baseline with a man on the ball.
7 for Smith now tonight.
Once this kind of defense starts to be successful for a team, it really becomes contagious. And you can see that it's working as a unit for UConn, and they're all in sync out there, really working at it on the defensive end.
Biggest lead of the night is 14. Marco Lokar trying to get through the pressure, and he walked with it.
Well, PJ's going to need, I think, to call a timeout, talk this thing over. UConn on a big run right here.
And get Voltzy and DeHare right back into the game. Lokar and Winchester will sit down. Hennefeld finds Gwynn. Now Smith will run the show. Darrell Christ, who started the game, back in for the Hall. John Gwynn, double pump in the lane, off the glass for 2.
Oh, he's having a great game tonight, particularly offensively, but also working defensively.
Connecticut starting to run away and hide here with 8 minutes to go in the game. It's stolen by Smith. That's the Big East records for steals in the game. DePriest takes it in, too hard off the glass, and Voltzy's there.
I don't know, but it's getting pushed, isn't it?
I think it is.
Might be there.
No doubt a Hoyer or Providence record that'll have to be checked. Voltzy follows his own shot. Back up and in. He got a foul off Cerulic.
I'll tell you, Seton Hall ever needed a basket, it was right about now, and Voltzy, very quiet in this game, came through with a big one.
Second foul on Cerulic. 7 minutes, 41 seconds to go. George back in, and DePriest goes out. Jim Calhoun's done a real nice job, given the way he wants to play this game, of keeping his kids fresh on the floor.
Yeah, he's getting great contributions from bench people. His bench has been good this year. He's gotten over 20 points a game, and they're contributing again tonight.
7:41 left, as I said, 69-56, a 13-point Connecticut lead. Huskies by 13, looking to steal a win on the road. The numbers just keep piling up. Chris Smith with one right there. You don't get much cleaner than that. And Smith again on the other end, anticipating the pass, and bingo, right there in the lane.
Where's the bounce pass? Some of the fundamentals that are so important, but Seton Hall has had a tough time against the Connecticut pressure.
NFL, coast to coast, walked with it. First mistake he's made tonight, but he's in the running right now for our player of the game. And at the conclusion of this game and during every game televised by the Big East Conference Television Network, we'll be selecting the Plymouth player of the game. This selection is part of the Chrysler Corporation sponsorship of Big East basketball. Oh, Chris looking to break the pressure and threw it away. Big bump at half court. Anthony Avent, the loose ball, put it on the back of Terry DeHare. PJ got up and put his head in his hands on that one.
He said, wow, we are out of sync out there right now. But we talked about it earlier. I mean, DeHare a freshman, Chris a freshman, Oliver Taylor first year at Seton Hall, junior college transfer. So you've got your young people in the backcourt. You're going to have some turnovers.
Darryl Chris left open, unable to put it down. Followed, though, by Cooper, who's had a big second half.
Cooper matching up defensively with Tate George. Cooper normally down low under the basket.
John Gwynn looking to go around. Chris gives it out to Hennefeld.
Had a notion.
Yeah, I did.
This is where Connecticut, though, has really put themselves in the driver's seat where they can be patient with the basketball. Got to be careful here, though, not to lose aggressiveness with this much time on the clock.
Gwynn with 16 on the shot clock, unable to hit, but Hennefeld comes away with a big rebound. A fresh 45 is important as anything else, as we're about to crack the 6-minute mark.
Again, another little thing. He doesn't force it. He just backs it right out.
John Gwynn called for the offensive foul as he put his shoulder into Darryl Christ. Second one on Gwynn. Lyman DePriest is going to come in, and John Gwynn will go out. Gwynn with 14 points off the bench. Sellers the high scorer with 15. Olsey left alone, so he brings it up himself.
You see Hall late like this now with 6 to go. They've got to attack more against the pressure. Get the ball to their backcourt people. You can't have Olsey and Avent dribbling the ball up against the pressure.
Michael Cooper knocks down a 3 outside. Count the bucket. There's going to be a foul on Anthony Avent in the rebounding action, but Michael Cooper now with 17, 15 in the second half.
I mean, he's stepping out really beyond what you'd normally consider his range to make some baskets, saying, hey, got to create some offense. Beautiful touch here and away from the basket. Kind of a wrap job by Cerulik with the left hand, but Volsey called for some push.
All right, some scores from around the Big East. Other action in the first half. These games starting at 8 o'clock. Syracuse a 6-point lead over BC, hanging in there. And the Villanova Wildcats looking to get one on the road tonight up at Providence, up by 1. Cerulik unable to convert in the Hall. Down 8, but they got the ball. A chance to get to 6 or better. Inside, Volsey.
All of a sudden, the little run that Seton Hall was looking for, and an otherwise very quiet crowd tonight getting into the act a little bit.
And Jim Calhoun takes a timeout. A 10-0 run here by the Hall. And they're back to within 6. Their move down 6 now.
We felt they had to do it. Obviously, time running against them as you look at the time left in the game, 5:31. Darryl Chris with a beautiful bounce pass. Kind you need inside, and Volsey used his body and did the rest.
The 10-0 run has awakened the crowd here at the Meadowlands. Big trip here for Connecticut.
They really got to break the ice.
NFL gets the roll.
He's come up tonight every time UConn has needed something, whether it's a steal, points, good pass.
He's got 12 in the game. Christ goes right through the pressure, finds Volsey, missed the dunk. Follow, though, Cooper.
Nice job penetrating, which I've been calling for most of the night for Seton Hall by Christ. he got right in there and made something happen.
19 for Michael Cooper.
Ooh.
17 in the second half.
Just give Seton Hall whatever they need. He's got a tough task at the other end, trying to contain Hennefeld.
Murray Williams looking to go on Voltzy. Tough shot. He got hit down the baseline. Voltzy is picking it up, his fourth. Voltzy, the only player in the game with 4 fouls, so they will not be a factor as we play the final 4:30 here. 71-65, 6-point lead. Free throw shooting will be a factor.
Yeah, we talked about that early. And that's an area where UConn, as a team anyhow, you've got to throw stats out to some extent at the end, depending on who's at the line. But 60% as a team, you know, where Seton Hall is 70%.
Missed them both. Chris the rebound. The Hall can get to within 4.
They're really going in now, too. They're trying to find... Oh, Avent was wide open that time.
He had him. They find him again. Nice look for Voltzy. Won't go down, though, and it's picked off by Sellers.
That was a terrific pass by Avent. Connecticut's gotten a little complacent, though, with the basketball. They're really starting their offense about 30 to 35 feet from the goal and not as aggressive as they were.
NFL goes by Cooper. Bounce pass. Williams underneath. Sellers. Nicely done.
Oh, that's a clinic. Moving the basketball by the big men. Interior passing.
17 for Sellers, which is clubbed back up by 8. Every offensive trip critical now for Seton Hall. 3:35 to go in the game.
Hall looking to dump it if they can.
The hair, tough shot. Nails it on the baseline.
Lowers the shoulder. He's been quiet, but when he shot it, that's been the result.
13 by DeHare. Connecticut by 6 in the ball. They're almost 4 corners right.
Yeah, it's a spread. Similar to a 4 corners kind of set, except Connecticut will go down and do some screening away from the basketball. But it clearly is a delay spread kind of offense where you try to get the penetration.
Sellers needs help. George looking, picked off inside, but Hennefeld got there and got a hand on it.
I mean, that's just another heads-up play.
9 on the shot clock. George, blocking foul is called on DeHare. P.J. Carlissimo yelling, no way.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you could read him, it was no way. I think George gets the arm. Ooh, that's a tough call.
That's tough calls, right.
George, Tate's got the shoulder lowered and a little bit of that elbow. That's why you heard P.J. with the no way.
That was a huge break for Connecticut because they were at about 5 on the shot clock. Nowhere near a shot.
That's right. Way out from the goal. Tate George has been in this situation before and generally a good free throw shooter late in the game.
First point of the second half for George. He has 9. 7-point Husky lead. The only senior on the squad. Makes them both. That's what seniors are supposed to do at times like this, right?
That's right. Really did look poised there.
The Hall down 8. Voltzy gets it across to DeHare. You know DeHare would like to line up a 3 from somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, he is so tough, and you've always got to be aware of his presence on the floor because he can hit the 3.
Cooper leans in. Michael Cooper. 21 for Coop.
If he's missed in the second half, I can't remember when.
Nope, I can't either.
He's made some tough shots.
George goes back door. Little room to the hole. Won't get down. Rebound by Avent.
And you're not going to take it away from Avent when he gets a board.
Christ finds DeHare. Inside, nearly picked off, but it's going to be Seton Hall ball. They got a break there as Dupree slapped the ball and it went out of bounds. 35 seconds on the shot clock, 2:02 to go in the game. Avent takes it to the hole, is stripped by George, and a reach-in foul on DeHare.
Oh, another huge play in this game because Hall with a chance to bring it to 4. Instead, UConn a chance to stretch it out to 8.
Let's take another look here. Got all ball, it would appear. Tate George is back at the free throw line. Missed that one. The hair out of the pack. It's loose. He got it back. Hall lost a few seconds, but still have a chance to get this within hailing distance.
A couple of timeouts left for Seton Hall. If they can convert, I look for them to call a quick time. Oh!
DePriest, a big-time block from behind on Avent.
That's just good substituting. Jimmy Calhoun's got him out there for the defense. And right now, Seton Hall probably going to have to go with a reach here. Oh, and they do reach, but no call.
The hair, the loose ball, takes it for 2. 75-71. And Volce called immediately with the foul on DePriest. Seton Hall may have decided to put some people on the free throw line and make the Connecticut Huskies win it there. And Lyman DePriest would be a prime candidate if you're P.J. Carlissimo.
Absolutely. That was number 5, by the way, on Volce.
Yep.
So he's
can't give any more.
Stay here. He can't give any more with the 6-foul rule in the Big East. I thought Coop was really draped over UConn that time. I think he was trying to reach on NFL, but anyhow, this game's going down to the wire.
The hair, the rebound. 1:15 to go.
You got to think Cooper's a likely candidate, or De Hair with the basketball, though Seton Hall has been going inside. Look for the timeout if they can score.
Over the top, good catch by Avent. Skips it for Christ. He'll pull it back out, down to 25 on the shot clock, under a minute to go in the game. Michael Cooper finds De Hair. Won't go down, kept alive. NFL tried to save it, and the Hall will get the ball. 48 seconds left in the game. 75-71. And we've got a timeout. Don't go away. This one is still up in the air. Back here for the final 48 seconds. A key steal here for Seton Hall.
Oh, absolutely. Look at this. Coop, he's trying to reach in. He's draped all over Hennefeld. No call, and De Hair brings it within 4, I believe, with this goal. We've got ourselves a tight one here down the stretch.
Connecticut had a 16-point lead here in the second half. 12 of them have disappeared. Timeouts left even at 2 apiece. Comes deep to Cooper. They find De Hair.
Yeah, they want De Hair. If not, they're trying to get it inside.
Here's De Hair, lets it fly. Buries a 3!
Oh! Brought rain with that one. And they call a quick timeout, Mike. Boy, did he launch it.
What a big-time shot by the freshman.
And he's not afraid to take it at crunch time. He took the one before that, and that time he was pretty well defended. And he really had to launch this thing way up to get it over the defense. They're looking for him. Cooper finds him, and Hennefeld really forces the trajectory of the shot to go almost straight up. And then the quick time before Connecticut can get it inbounds. Avent and Cooper making sure.
Seton Hall 7 of 11 from behind the stripe.
Well, as important as the turnover stat has been for UConn, forcing Seton Hall into the turnover, Seton Hall shooting has certainly kept them in the game, particularly from three-point land. And right now, shot clock is off, Mike, so Connecticut, if you don't have a Seton Hall steal, can run this clock out. And I'm sure the strategy will be, if they don't get the steal, somebody is going to have to go there.
You know, in a situation like this, Ron, and you would know obviously better than I from your playing days, but you want to be the Hall. You don't want to be the Connecticut, even though you're down 1, because if you're Connecticut, you're up 16 like 6 minutes ago. You got to feel this is like sliding away from you fast.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
you're hanging on.
Yeah.
Right now, you're just hanging on, and you're hoping whenever your team goes to the line that you get the job done, and you're on the road.
Hennefeld makes the inbounds pass quickly to Gwynn. Back to Hennefeld. Cooper comes up and fouls him. Michael Cooper, who had just 2, able to give one away. The Huskies, as Ron pointed out, came into this game in the 60s in terms of free throws, and tonight, even below that, 56.5%. Hennefeld, though, is a pretty good free throw shooter.
It's fitting that he does go to the line here because he has just done everything that Jim Calhoun could have possibly wanted him to do in the game. And of course now these are big ones, but there's a lot of time left on the clock. Still got 31 seconds. No hesitation at all by Hennefeld.
13th point of the night for the freshman.
That's the way to do it too. Get your routine down, and then no matter what the situation is, just get up there. Don't rush it, but get the stroke right down. Yeah.
Nails them both. Makes it a 3-point game, 77-74. Christ swallowed up by Hennefeld. Looks and finds DeHare. He gets swallowed up on the baseline. Pass out to Cooper. Cooper turns and fires. It'll come up short. Rebound to Priest. Over to Smith. Hennefeld gets it ahead to Sellers, and Sellers puts the lights out for Seton Hall with 7.9 seconds to go.
Seton Hall just couldn't get into their offense. They never did set up for the three, which is what they needed, unless they got a quick two, and now just not enough time left.
Terry DeHare leans with the three, comes up short. Avent to rebound. They'll let him go. He puts it in, but the Connecticut Huskies have come in here to the Meadowlands and pulled off a victory. Jim Calhoun and P.J. Carlissimo meet at half court, but the Connecticut Huskies have now won 3 straight. And we may be able to get Jim Calhoun over here for a moment or so. 79-76, the final score. Ron, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm just really impressed with the way Seton Hall hung in this second half. They played some intense defense, but UConn got into their game plan early, and I think that was key for them. They came out of the gates quickly and were able to force Seton Hall into a lot of turnovers and really control the pace of this game. However, Seton Hall at home shot the ball so well that both teams were able to trade runs, and Seton Hall really with a great shot down the stretch here. If a couple more missed Connecticut free throws had happened, they were right there. You know, they just couldn't convert that last time down.
A funny game, and that it makes you wonder a bit, given the fact that Seton Hall turned the ball over so many times. You would think they'd have no shot to be even in this game, but it shows you, especially what the three-point line can do. You can cover up a multitude of sins.
Yeah, that was, even in the first half, I mean, that was Seton Hall's best stat. They were shooting the ball extremely well, keeping themselves in the game. And Connecticut, on the other hand, was doing a good job converting off their defense. We talked a lot about Hennefeld, and he was just all over the floor in this game. Made some big free throws, Tate George did, and then finally they were able to make a very convincing basket at the end with Rod Sellers to put this thing away. I didn't think Seton Hall got into any kind of good offense this time. They were down by 3, and then he makes the pass here.
Sure he does.
Volsey can't get the foul, and Sellers just puts it on ice as he puts Connecticut up by 5, and it's high 5 time.
Rod Sellers, I believe, a career high 21 points. I'm pretty sure it's a career high. Definitely a Big East high for him as he came up real big tonight. But our player of the game, sorry, Rod, that was a great effort, but we're going to go with your teammate, Nadav Hennefeld, who again just came up with an amazing effort. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 6 steals, probably had 4 or 5 assists. And again, they're going to give him 6 steals, Ron, but he must have had his hands on the ball another 8 or 9 times.
He really did, and he had a lot of heads-up plays in this game. He made 2 critical free throws down the stretch. We talked about the importance of free throws. Again, he was the guy that got it done. Out of a timeout, he made a big basket in the lane. So I thought he was clearly just the overall, when you think of the game, he played outstanding. Sellers, though, he is really coming along.
Seton Hall will have Providence next here at the Meadowlands on Monday night, and you would have to think the Connecticut is really sky high now. They will have the Syracuse